Picture this. You're heading out for a critical date with your significant other. You're set on wearing black shoes, but your partner insists on brown. How do you navigate this impasse? Now you might be thinking, well, that's easy. I'll compromise. I'll wear one black shoe and one brown. That's 50-50, right? But let's be honest, that's not really a solution, is it? This is exactly why Chris Voss, a former FBI hostage negotiator and author of the New York Times bestseller Never Split the Difference, argues against the idea of a 50-50 compromise. According to Chris, there's always a better way. For over 2 decades, Chris Voss has been in the business of negotiating life-or-death situations. He's dealt with kidnappers, bank robbers, and extreme terrorists. And in this high-stakes world, he's discovered that the principles of negotiation are universal. They apply just as much to the boardroom as they do to a hostage situation. So what does this mean for us? Well, it means that whether we're trying to get our kids to bed on time, convincing a friend to try out a new restaurant, or yes, even deciding on the color of our shoes, we're negotiating. Our entire life is a negotiation. And the key to successful negotiation, according to Chris Voss, it's not about your way or my way, it's about finding a third way that makes both sides happy. To illustrate, let's imagine 2 kids fighting over a chocolate bar. They can't agree on how to split it. No matter how you divide it, they're both unhappy. They think the other one is getting more. But there's a third way. Have one kid divide the chocolate and let the other one choose the first piece. This way, they're both satisfied. In the course of this video series, we'll be delving into 5 key lessons from Chris Voss's book. These lessons are not just about negotiation. They're about understanding human behavior, empathy, and effective communication. So, are you ready to explore the art of negotiation? As Chris Voss says, negotiation is not about your way or my way. It's about finding a third way that makes both sides happy. Now let's dive into our first lesson, understand first. Understanding first is a key principle in negotiation. It's not just about hearing the words spoken by the other party. It's about really grasping their perspective, their needs, and their desires. Imagine you are at a farmer's market. You see a beautiful handcrafted wooden table that you absolutely must have. The seller, however, has a steep price tag on it. Before you jump into bargaining, take a moment to understand the seller. They've probably put countless hours into crafting that table, not to mention the cost of the materials. Now, coming from this understanding, your negotiation takes on a different tone. You appreciate the craftsmanship and the effort that went into the table. You acknowledge it before you begin to negotiate. This not only validates the seller's work, but also opens a path for a more friendly and respectful negotiation. Or let's consider a different scenario. You're in a meeting at work and a team member is adamantly opposing your proposal. Instead of pushing your point of view first, try to understand theirs. Ask them to share their concerns. Maybe they have insights you haven't considered, or perhaps they're worried about the workload. By understanding their perspective, you can address their concerns, and together you can find a solution that works for everyone, the third way, as Chris Voss would say. Understanding doesn't mean you have to agree with the other party. It's about gaining a deeper insight into their needs, their fears, their desires, and their constraints. It's about stepping into their shoes to see the world from their viewpoint. This understanding then forms the basis of your negotiation strategy. So to master the art of negotiation, the first step is to understand the other party's perspective. Only then can you find that third way. It's about navigating the negotiation maze with empathy and insight, rather than brute force. After all, negotiation isn't a battle to be won, but a puzzle to be solved. And to solve it, you need to understand all the pieces first. Moving on to our second lesson, the power of empathy. Imagine walking into a room armed with nothing but the ability to understand. Sounds simple, right? But this is the secret weapon in the world of negotiation. Empathy, the ability to share and understand the feelings of others, is a powerful tool that can transform the way we negotiate. It's not about sympathizing or agreeing with the other party. Rather, it's about stepping into their shoes, seeing the world through their eyes, and understanding their perspective. Consider this for a moment. When we negotiate, we're not just dealing with issues, we're dealing with people. People with feelings, motivations, fears, and desires. And these emotional factors often have a greater impact on the outcome of a negotiation than the issue at hand. So how can we harness the power of empathy in negotiation? First, we must actively listen. Remember, empathy starts with understanding, and understanding starts with listening. Listen not just to what is being said, but also to what is being left unsaid. The tone of voice, the body language, the pauses. These can all provide valuable insights into the other party's perspective. Second, we must validate their feelings. This doesn't mean we agree with them, but it shows we understand where they're coming from. A simple phrase like, "I can see why you might feel that way," can work wonders in building a connection. Finally, we must communicate our understanding. Make it clear that you're not just hearing, but truly understanding their point of view. This can help build trust and open up new avenues for compromise. But remember, empathy isn't just a tactic to be used in negotiation. It's a way of life. It's about recognizing the humanity in others and treating them with the respect and understanding they deserve. So the next time you find yourself in a negotiation, whether it's deciding where to eat for dinner or closing a multi-million-dollar deal, remember to bring your secret weapon, empathy. Remember, empathy isn't about agreeing, it's about understanding. Our third lesson is the art of listening. Now you might be thinking, I listen all the time, isn't that just natural? Well, there's a world of difference between hearing and truly listening. Listening is an art, a skill that takes practice to perfect. It's more than just letting sound waves enter your ear. It's about understanding, interpreting, and responding to the underlying messages that often go unsaid. In the context of negotiation, listening becomes even more crucial. It's like playing a game of chess. You're constantly observing, thinking, and strategizing. But instead of watching your opponent's moves on a chessboard, you're listening to their words, tone, and the pauses in between. Let's say you're negotiating a business deal. The other party seems to agree with your terms, but their voice lacks conviction. An adept listener will pick up on this subtle cue and probe further, possibly uncovering concerns that could have jeopardized the deal down the line. Active listening involves giving feedback, asking clarifying questions, and summarizing the speaker's points. This not only assures them that their message is being received, but also provides you with valuable insights into their perspectives, interests, and potential reservations. Let's take another example. Suppose you're negotiating with your friend about which movie to watch. You want to watch a thriller, but your friend seems hesitant. If you listen carefully, you might hear them say something like, "I don't mind thrillers, but I had trouble sleeping last time." Now that's your cue. Instead of insisting on your choice, you could suggest a lighter suspense movie that satisfies both your preferences. In negotiation, as in life, listening is not a passive activity. It's not about waiting for your turn to speak. It's about truly hearing and understanding the other person, and that's a skill worth mastering. Remember, when you're in a negotiation, you're not just trying to get your point across. You're also trying to understand the other party's point of view, and the only way to do that is by mastering the art of listening. In the realm of negotiation, silence truly can be golden. Our fourth lesson is the power of no. Saying no can be difficult, especially in a negotiation where you're trying to build bridges, not burn them. But saying no is a crucial skill in negotiation. It's about setting boundaries and preserving your interests. When used appropriately, saying no can shift the balance of power and open up new possibilities. Let's delve into why no is so powerful. When you say no, you're asserting your position and showing the other party that you have limits. This can lead them to reconsider their demands and come up with a more reasonable proposition. In a negotiation, saying no is not about being stubborn or difficult, it's about respecting your own needs and interests. However, saying no is an art. You can't just throw it around carelessly. You need to use it strategically. For instance, instead of bluntly saying no, you can express your disagreement in a more constructive way. You could say, "I understand where you're coming from, but from my perspective, this doesn't seem like the best solution. Can we explore other options?" Remember, saying no doesn't mean you're shutting down the conversation. On the contrary, it often leads to a more meaningful dialogue. It helps you move past surface-level discussions and delve into the heart of the matter. So, how do you say no without damaging the relationship? It's all about how you communicate. Be respectful, empathetic, and open-minded. Show the other party that you value their perspective, but also stand firm on your position. Remember, no is not the end of the negotiation, but often the beginning of the real conversation. It's a tool that can help you steer the negotiation towards a more favorable outcome. So don't shy away from saying no. Embrace it, master it, and use it to your advantage. Our fifth and final lesson is the magic of "that's right." This phrase can be a game changer in any negotiation. Let's explore why. When the other party says "that's right," it signifies that they feel understood and that they agree with your perspective. This can build trust and rapport, which are crucial for successful negotiations. But how do you get the other party to say "that's right"? It's all about how you present your arguments and how well you've applied the previous lessons. If you've truly understood their perspective, empathized with their concerns, listened attentively and said no when necessary, it's likely that the other party will feel heard and validated. This can lead them to say "that's right," effectively agreeing with your viewpoint. But remember, "that's right" is not just about getting the other party to agree with you. It's about reaching a deeper level of understanding and agreement. When used strategically, "that's right" can steer the negotiation towards a mutually beneficial outcome. So the next time you're in a negotiation, listen for that magic phrase, "that's right." It might just be the key to unlocking a successful outcome. Note that this doesn't mean manipulating the other party into agreeing with you. It's about fostering genuine understanding and finding a solution that benefits everyone involved. So embrace the magic of "that's right" and see how it can transform your negotiations. Now that we've learned these lessons, let's explore how they can transform your everyday life. Just imagine you're at a family dinner and two of your relatives are arguing over the last slice of pie. Instead of watching the feud unfold, you apply the lessons you've learned. You understand their perspectives, empathize with their desires, and listen to their arguments. Then you offer a third way. Divide the pie equally, satisfying both parties. That's the power of negotiation in action. Or consider a professional scenario. You're in a meeting and your team can't agree on the best course of action for a project. Tensions are high, and the decision-making process is at a stalemate. But you remember Chris Voss's lessons. You take a step back, understand the different viewpoints, empathize with your colleagues' concerns, and listen attentively. Suddenly you find a third way that addresses everyone's needs, propelling the project forward. That's the transformative power of effective negotiation. Negotiation isn't just about resolving conflicts or reaching an agreement. It's about fostering understanding, building relationships, and creating solutions that benefit everyone involved. It's about finding that third way that makes both sides happy, a solution that might not have been apparent at first, but emerges through understanding, empathy, and active listening. These lessons from Chris Voss aren't just theoretical, they're practical tools you can use in your daily life, tools that can help you navigate tricky situations, build stronger relationships, and achieve better outcomes. Whether you're dealing with a stubborn child, a difficult colleague, or a challenging business deal, these negotiation skills can make all the difference. So take these lessons to heart. Practice them in your interactions. Understand first, empathize always, and listen intently. You'll be surprised at how often you can find that third way, that win-win solution that satisfies everyone involved. Remember, the true power of negotiation lies not in winning, but in achieving a mutually beneficial outcome. So next time you find yourself in a standoff, whether it's over shoes or a business deal, remember Chris Voss's lessons and find your third way. Thank you for watching. Kindly subscribe to the channel after liking this video and watch our next one. See you soon.